Welcome back mga summoners. Of course, I am Jay, and with me is
Mr. Rick TV.
yes, and we're gonna show the final match of the night between AHQ versus Wargods. The drafting has started. On the blue side, we have AHQ Esports Club, and on the red side, we have Wargods. Now the bans have been out already. HQ have already banned out Jax, Yasu, and Trundle, while Wargods have already banned out Cassidy, Fizz, and Twisted Fate. Alright, so for the first pick coming from HQ, we have the Kale pick. Very strong pick, don't you agree with me, Emraken?
Yeah, definitely. The kill pick was, you can see in the previous games, very strong because especially with the intervention as your SS, they're able to like make a really big difference in team fights.
Yes.
Of course, JLC taking Lulu again as he did last game, that could make a difference as well. Getting a bit hotter right now is Lulu, getting warmer, especially because he had experience previously. He sees that he should time his ultimates better this game, and maybe this game will time his ultimates better.
Yes, alright. So, Wargods opting to pick up the Lulu and the Gragas here. We've seen Wargods play this particular lineup with Yasu in the mid lane, but sadly it was banned out by HQ, so they'll have to combo this with another champion. Of course, Trevor does have a lot of assassins in his pocket. We'll have to see who he'll probably pick, maybe a Zed, although we haven't seen that much Zed play lately. Maybe possibly a LeBlanc for Trevor here. HQ already locking in their AD carry. Jinx, a very strong champion, especially in team fights. Very powerful champion, especially in the late game. And of course, the Evelynn finally being locked in by HQ. Very powerful jungler in the early games. Of course, the passive of Evelynn does give her the ability to gank quite effectively if she times it right.
Yeah, and especially this Jinx pick, I think this is a very good Jinx pick because in this meta, Jinx is an auto-attack champion. It's an auto-attack based champion. An auto-attack based champion, especially this 4-point death patch, is very powerful, especially towards late game. Late game, Jinx is similar to Tristana, in that her auto-attack can shred through anybody, and it's nearly unstoppable once she gets strike.
That's right. And actually, both of them do share the ability to splash damage with their long-range attack. Jinx, of course, consumes mana every time she does use that ability, unlike Tristana, which does an explosion every time she kills a unit. Alright, looking at Wargods, Wargods did lock in the Lucian once again. We saw Sus do not so bad with the Lucian, but of course, their positioning in the last game did cost them that game. They had many bad plays where Wargods were caught out of position by the Knight's rotation coming from NFL. Now, support being picked up by of Trevor here for Poisanity, using Thresh here. Quite surprising that they picked up a Thresh once again. Normally, I know Poisanity loves to use the Nami with him, but this time around they decided to pick up the Thresh, probably to deny HQ Green Tea from getting it. We've seen Green Tea use Thresh many times before, and it's just really so dominating on Thresh. Every time his hooks are like homing missiles that really lock onto champion targets of the enemy team.
But I think Poisanity taking Thresh is actually a really good pick as well, because Poisanity, as we saw last game, can hit his hooks. And with this Lucian, I think the Lucian Jinx matchup is better if they choose to stay bot lane, which they may of course choose to rotate top again. But staying bot lane, I think the Lucian Jinx matchup is really good for Lucian, because especially when you get your early game burst in and Thresh hits his hooks, that's just a really good combo in the bot lane.
That's right. Alright, so it looks like the HQ lock in the Ziggs and the Leona. It's been a while since we've seen Leona being picked up in the GPL. Leona is definitely a very, very strong pick.
Yeah, especially with Leona taking, I'm not sure if she's gonna take Ignite, but with Ignite, I think that puts a huge amount of burst. And once you get Jinx auto-attacking and focusing that AD carry after Leona hard engages, that's just a really good combo. Now, I think this is gonna be a really good matchup bot lane with Thresh Lucian against Jinx Leona. You're gonna see Leona hard engaging. You're gonna see Thresh trying to poke and trying to get those hooks going.
Yeah, with that you mentioning that, I expect Evelynn to actually apply a lot of pressure in the bottom lane because they have a lot of kill potential with the hard engage coming from Jinx and Leona. Leona and Jinx can definitely hard CC the bot lane. They have so much crowd control. They've got the traps from Jinx. They've got the Zenith Blade and the Solar Flare from Leona here, easily to lock out. And I'm pretty sure even with the box coming from Thresh, it would not be enough to stop or disengage the members of HQ here. Especially once Jinx pick up at least one kill from them, she's gonna go basically take off and pick up more kills there.
Again, as we saw last game, once you get a late game AD carry, once the late game AD carry gets some kills going, that's going to be really, really dangerous going into the mid and late game. Because once you get that AD carry through the mid game, late game is just going to be unstoppable, especially with Jinx, who has a CC slow and a nuke with her zap. Her zap does a lot of damage, one of the strongest nukes for an AD carry. And further, she also has CC with that zap. So once she hits that zap, that's definitely very good for team fights.
Yeah, I think Wargods definitely bottom lane will have to get ahead in the lane. They have to poke down as much as possible if they want to win this matchup. If not, if Leona gets a nice initiation into them with a follow up with Naz, it will be very dangerous. Including Pride here. Pride's on the Kale with the teleport. This should be very easy for them to take down the bottom lane. Bottom lane will have their work cut out for them for this game for sure.
I think what Lucian needs to do here, Lucian and Thresh need to start poking, and definitely when they get that opportunity to outburst Jinx and Leona bottom lane, they have to do it. They have to secure those kills, and they have to farm perfectly, and they have to play very solidly in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and another thing I'd like to point out with the intervention and the Leona being very tanky already, even without the intervention, it'll be just so much harder for Zeus to burst down champions when he wants to. Alright, looking at the other lanes though, of course we have the Gragas. Gragas is a very unusual jungler, especially in the current meta. He's been quite effective in some of the games we've seen already, but with this particular lineup, I don't know how they're gonna be able to. Their lineup is very team based. They need to land their composition properly if they want to win. Unlike HQ, they have better solo or they can pick off champions much easier without landing or picking up in team fights.
And I definitely don't like this Gragas jungle pick because you have the mobility of Evelynn, which allows her to rotate and just apply pressure against Gragas, who just will probably spend a lot of time farming because of his lack of mobility. And I think that's definitely going to be a huge factor, especially in bot lane again, as Lucian and Thresh will probably have some difficulty against Jinx and Leona.
Yeah, looking at the mid lane though, we got Ziggs and Orianna here. Ziggs definitely a very strong poker. Orianna with the right mechanical skills could avoid most of those skill shots and return some in his favor. But again, Naz on the Evelyn, very dangerous pick, will really apply a lot of global pressure on the entire map, even in the early game. So Wargods will have their cut out for them for the early game. And like you said, the late game scaling of Jinx and Kale are very scary. So this is gonna be even apply even more pressure for the laning phase for Wargods.
But again, War Gods have already learned from the previous game about early game pressure and about how much pressure a jungler can put on the map and how much more security they can put on getting objectives. So I think now they can learn from that and learn that they should play solidly and play aggressively when they can, allowing them to push the lanes and just take back that map pressure and allow them to get to the mid game, take advantage of the weak mid game champs that AHQ has, and they just have to capitalize on that.
That's right. Right, the game will be starting very soon here. Looking at the lineup once again, we have HQ Prides on Kale in the top lane. We got HQ Nads on Evelyn in the jungle. HQ Westdor on the Ziggs. HQ Garnet Devil on the Jinx. And Leona or HQ Green Tea on Leona. I'm actually surprised that he hasn't used the Malphite this season. Last season he always picked up Leona and it was picked up Malphite rather and did really well on that. Surprisingly this season he hasn't pulled it out yet. Maybe he might be saving it for the playoffs once the group stages are over. But so far, he's been doing really well on Thresh. It's probably his most picked champ so far in the season. The game is already loading. A few more minutes, the game will start. We'll just have to wait for the loading screen. A while ago, though, let's talk about the previous game about War Gods here. War Gods did not do very well, especially in the early game, and they were out of position so many times. Now, this is going to be something that they have to really work on really fast since they're transitioning to even I would say a more difficult team to face off with, especially HQ going at the top of the leaderboard right now with five wins and one loss only so far. Although NFL was able to defeat their opponents a while ago quite well, it's going to be a different ball game against HQ.
And I think it was a very, again, this makes a huge difficulty when they chose Gragas, because when you choose Gragas, you just lack that vision control. Gragas can't move around the map as quickly as, say, Lee Sin or Evelyn. So now Gragas will spend a lot of time farming, and Evelyn is going to be able to just roam and gang everybody and just apply pressure. They probably should have chosen a more mobile jungler that allowed them to just secure vision control and allow them to exert more pressure to counter what kind of pressure Evelyn has.
Yeah. The biggest thing I'm scared for Wargods is the ultimate of Gragas and Orianna do not always gel well together. Since Gragas' ultimate spreads the team, while Orianna pulls the whole team together, and this is something that is very hard to time. One miss spell coming from either one of them could definitely turn the game around in the favor of HQ. So we'll have to see how Gragas or stronger on Gragas will be able to execute his ultimate properly in conjunction with Warga Trevor's Orianna.
And I think what Gragas has to do here is that ultimate probably should just be used for disengages. Now you can see late game, these champions will just definitely shred through War Gods' lineup. So that Gragas could potentially use that ultimate to just burst through the enemy team and make sure that they get far away and make sure that they're able to disengage safely from team fights and just clean up afterwards.
Yeah, I remember a few seasons before when people used also no, last season rather, they used Gragas quite often, either in the top or in the jungle, and sometimes they use it for initiating, which is kind of wrong sometimes because then they end up having no way of disengaging, like you said, and instead the fight goes quite sour in the favor of the enemy team. So the game has started. We're about to enter the Summoner's Rift. Good luck to both teams, AHQ and Wargas, as the game begins. Right now, there is a slight pause. I think some champions have not yet loaded into the screen, probably making some last-minute adjustments from HQ side on their settings before the game gets along.
Now, I think that what's going to be really critical here is how bot lane is going to go. Lucian, Thresh versus Jinx, Leona.
A summoner has reconnected.
Now with that reconnection, probably going to get the game ongoing soon. But Lucian has to learn how to play aggressively and defensively. He has to play very solidly. Because once the Jinx, again, as we saw last game with Tristana getting those skills early on, if the Jinx gets those skills early on, it's going to be very dangerous for War Gods going into the mid and late game.
Yes, definitely. And we'll have to see how Zeus and Poisanity execute. Like, definitely Poisanity doesn't want to land defense on Leona since it's really tanky and actually can force a counter engage. It will be in fact in favor of HQ if something like that happens. So Poisanity has to land those hooks at the right targets if they want to win it. Definitely Poisanity on Thresh is not a bad matchup since Poisanity is really good also on Thresh. And he can use his skills to prevent Leona from hard engaging with the Zenith Blade with a flame. But even with that, it still requires a lot of timing and could still be in the favor of HQ if they play it smart.
Again, what will be very critical here is if Thresh can hit his hooks. If he can hit his hooks, that allows Lucian, for example, if he can hook Jinx, if he can hit Jinx, Lucian can burst down Jinx after he hits the hooks. But very critically here is, especially with Jinx, a very mobile champion, it's going to be much more difficult to hit those hooks.
Yes. All right. So Wargod Stronger did spot a while ago Naz in the river there. So it looks like there won't be any invades coming from any teams just yet. You can see a ward has been placed down by HQ Prides already in the top lane here. He will be defending his jungle, the blue buff for Evelynn here. And looking at the other side, even War Gods doesn't look like they have any plans of even having a late invade as well. Quite surprisingly though, I'd expect that Poisanity on Thresh would be able to hook somebody if they wanted to pick up an early kill, but I guess probably they know that HQ is not somebody to be trifled with, and this is not something a risk that they don't want to throw the game so early in the game if something goes wrong.
Definitely, because AHQ have proven that they have very, very strong mechanics and they have very strong fundamentals. I think that War Gods have learned from the last game about over-aggression and getting caught out in the wrong times. So them skipping out on an early invade really allows them to just collect themselves in lane and just play solidly throughout the rest.
Yeah, Naz being a little bit sneaky here, going around using his invisibility to sneak around the wards there of War Gods and put down a ward. Looks like he might even try to steal the red buff of Stronger here. We'll have to see how this plays out. Stronger will take his blue buff. He got a little assistance from Zeus and Poisanity here with the blue buff, and yes, blue buff is his already. Naz will steal the red buff, no problems here. Definitely a smart play coming from HQ. Basically a nice move, definitely outsmarting War Gods Stronger here in the jungle.
I think this is the biggest issue with your jungle lacking mobility. You can see Evan will just counter jungle all game because of how fast you can move compared to Gragas. Gragas will be stuck farming his own jungle, while Evelynn will not only get the buff from her own jungle but also steal the opponent's jungle.
Yeah, and a gank coming from Evelynn very early on in the mid lane. For some reason, War Gods Stronger did not realize that the red buff Evelynn had was his own red buff. He now realized now he's seen the minimap. A hard engage coming from HQ here. Zeus going down really low, ignited and exhausted here. Let's see if the Knight will go. No, he will survive here. Nats will go one-on-one with Stronger. Less than half HP will use his body slam to get away from him.
Again, this becomes a really big danger of Leona. Once Leona gets that hard engage down, it becomes really difficult for Thresh and Lucian. Unless Thresh, of course, gets the play off or gets the skill shot off. Because once they get that off, Jinx and Leona can just go in and hard engage and just definitely take chunks off Lucian's health.
That's right. Alright, so looking at the CS right now, definitely Jinx will have a nice early lead over Lucian. I think he'll recall to pick up another Doran's Blade, most likely here, to have a little bit more poke and more lifesteal at the same time here. While in the mid lane now, War Gods Trevor quite even in CS with Ziggs, even with that early gank coming from Evelynn.
Now the question here is if he even get another Doran's Blade. I don't think with the money he got from with the gold advantage he got from the 7 TS, I don't think he even has enough for another Doran's. He'll probably go try to get some pots and try to get some more sustain.
That's right. Okay, back to the top lane here. Kale actually is winning the CS war against JLC. JLC has to farm under his third here. A gank was attempted by Wargon Stronger, unsuccessful. Jinsley still connected to Trevor, and first blood goes to AHQ Nas. What a wonderful play coming from AHQ squad.
And again, Leona showing her power in that hard engage. Once she gets that hard engage going, it really allows the rest of her team to just focus that one member of the opposing team and just allow them to just focus fire and take that first blood.
Yeah, and the reason why Greedy was able to actually roam to the mid lane was because they were able to force Wargod Zeus to back away because of the hard engage he already did a while ago, and taking him really low, making him teleport back to base really early, allowing him to waste some time here and allow Jinx to farm quite freely and safely in the bottom lane, and making another play for HQ, picking up the first kill for them.
And importantly here is, Jinx doesn't even have to get a few kills going in the early game. All she has to do is outfarm Lucian. Once she outfarms Lucian, mid-game she'll be okay, and that's important because when she's okay mid-game, late-game is going to be a monster.
Yes. That reminds me, the upcoming patch here, coming patch of 4.11, the range that you can get experience from minions will be increased to 1,400 range. So, forcing champions to back away like what's happening right now in the bottom lane will be much harder. If you want to win the lane, you really have to push them all the way back just to deny them experience. But with the current range which is 1,200, it's a little bit easier for them to deny experience from the opposing team.
And very importantly also in that 4.11 patch, turrets will also will get a buff. So turrets will have bigger range and have a higher APM. So they'll be able to burst down champions faster. That means in 4.11 patch there'll probably be less tower dive.
Alright, so looking at the bottom lane right now, you can see here Green Tea is trying his best to zone out the members of Wargods here. Boy Sanity landing a normal shot, a normal attack on Green Tea, not doing much damage there since Green Tea has his shield up during that time. Minions will be forced under the turrets of Wargods here. Wargods will have to try to farm again under the turret. HQ taking the early lead right now, 1.1k gold advantage over Wargods here. So Wargods is starting to struggle a little bit in the early game. Nobody has picked up any dragons yet, so there's still a lot of opportunity for Wargods to get back into this game.
Critically, they don't have enough vision to get dragons, so because both teams aren't able to put themselves in the right position that they can make sure that the enemy team is far away, they can't really secure dragon at this point in the game.
That's right. Okay, you can see right now HQ is trying to make a big move right now. All the members are rotating. Even Evelyn is going to the top lane. Of course, she won't be spotted by that ward invisible. JLC will definitely be in a lot of trouble here. Naz is only level 4 here, but he does have a lot of damage here. JLC uses his ultimate and will be quite safe from that gank coming from Naz.
Again, Evelyn showing how powerful she can be early game. She's able to exert her pressure even in top lane. Now top lane, that means that the top laner will be able to farm freely and safely.
Yeah, you can see here Kale is dominating in terms of CS here. 51 to 38, more than 12 CS now, actually 14 in CS advantage over JLC here. JLC is struggling a little bit with the kill in the top lane. Both of them are level 6 though. I think JLC was able to soak up enough XP to stay in league with Kale in terms of level.
And Lucian's definitely playing this right here. He's trying to use his Qs to poke the champion instead of burst them down. But in terms of going in, I don't think Lucian should be able to outburst Leona yet at this point. Because Leona is just very strong close range. So Lucian should try to use his Q, not to burst down enemy champions, but to poke them through the minions. Yeah,
I'm actually quite happy that Green Tea picked up Leona. I still think Leona is a very strong support champion. We haven't seen really much of her yet this season, but now that they've picked it up, you can see how much pressure she's applying in the bottom lane. Nothing Clash can really do against this hard engage coming from Leona.
Yeah, and definitely Leona right now, she's not as strong as she was previously, but she still definitely has her uses in terms of that hard engage and utility.
Yes. Looks like Wargod Stronger uses ultimate, forcing Ziggs to use his go to escape the wrath that might have come his way. JLC now pushing his lane in the top lane. Back to the mid lane, Trevor might be a little bit in danger here. Naz is roaming around here. Won't be able to do any engage here. Looks like Trevor will be safe for the meantime. Su's taking a lot of damage from Garnet Devil here. Su's burning his full lane just to clear the minion wave, and now has no mana, half HP. Gragas is gonna come here to the bottom lane. He has no ultimate, so I really doubt that he's gonna do anything here in the bottom lane.
Very, very effective use of the traps from Jinx right there. That allowed Lucian to just lose half of his HP just from how Jinx was able to poke him after getting stunned by those traps.
Yes, a pink ward being spotted out by Naz here, being placed down by Wargod to find the location of, or the rotation of Naz here. Good investment here, but sadly Naz was able to remove it already quite soon. So it has to be a little bit careful here. I think Greedy will switch targets. No, he didn't. A teleport coming on from JSC. A nice hook coming
very good
on the Garnet Devil.
from Crush there. And very also, critically here is that Leona was able to miss her hardest game. I think that definitely would have been a kill for AHQ if Leona was able to hit target. Like he is now in that target range to get the kill.
Yeah, and see here Price responding to that. Stronger getting stunned here to Leona. Price is going down really low. Let's see if Lucian can pick up the kill. Yes, he flashes in. Stronger now gonna go down, most likely to Garnet Devil as well. Garnet Devil, I think, what that was a double kill, an artificial double kill here. Poisanti will probably go down. Yes, another double kill for Jinx here. Trevor now joining the bottom lane here. It's gonna be a very messy team fight here. Green Team might even get away from here. Ultimate being burned by Trevor here. Trevor will go down. Unbelievable. Green Team escaped there. You can see how hard Leon is to take down here, and a tower probably will be picked up by AHQ.
This definitely is a problem. Again, War Gods learned from their last game that you don't leave the AD carry that does really well late game. So of course last game was Tristana, now it's Jinx. Jinx is 2-0-2 with a 71 to 53 CS lead. That's a huge CS lead and a kill lead for Jinx. This is very dangerous coming into the mid game.
Yeah, and look at the items Jinx has bought. A BF sword and a pickaxe. The AD advantage he has now over Lucian is just humongous. 2 items over Lucian. This is really bad news for Lucian. And even with the help of the jungler coming from War Gods, this will be a very hard comeback for him in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and I think you can see the playstyles differing from both AD carries. So you see Jinx is building an Infinity Edge because she's in the lead, while Lucian oddly, I think he's going for a Bloodthirster there because of the BF blade and longsword combo that only builds into a Bloodthirster.
Yes, most likely. If you're right, I think the Bloodthirster probably would be the choice that he'll be going for. That shield will probably help him a little bit, but the burst damage from Jinx is too much. Wow, look at that combo coming in.
Perfect rocket.
Ultimate being used by Lulu on Gragas. Gragas will get away safely from this, but ultimate's burned just to save a life. Although it's a good choice for him, this means that AHQ now has an even bigger advantage since their ultimates are still up.
Definitely, an AHQ right now can force either a siege, they can either get Dragon, they can siege turrets, or they can force another team fight. Definitely, that really opens up a lot of options for AHQ.
Yeah, GSC has to be very careful here. Pride still has intervention here. As you can see, Pride is also in the huge lead over Lulu here. He already picked up a Stinger while Lulu only picking up a Chalice so far.
Of course, AHQ now is going to be able to pick up Dragon and increase their gold. So now they're up by 5k in gold. This is going to be very critical going to the mid game, because as you can see, Jinx is 3-0-2 and is about to finish her IE.
Yes, 5k gold at this early in the game is a huge lead for HQ, and the kills 6 to 1 is a 5 kill advantage as well.
Very importantly, Ziggs is 102 to 79 CS lead on Orianna. So that's a huge amount of CS, especially in the mid lane. So I think right now Ziggs can play aggressively and hope for some ganks from Evelyn.
Yeah, and this is what makes it worse is actually it's not just the bottom lane. It's including the mid lane and the top lane of War God are losing in terms of CS here. You can see Kale has 102 to 70 over Lulu. That's more than 30 CS advantage, and in the mid lane another 20 plus more for Trevor here. Trevor might go down here. Ignite, yes, he goes down. Greedy does follow up. Trevor trying to help JSC pick up a kill with Poisanti here. I think they might be able to pick up the kill. Yes, and JSC picks up a kill for himself. That's his first kill in the game. He now has 1 kill, 1 death, and 1 assist here. But HQ making the most out of this, pick up another tower for themselves. This is a 2-tower advantage for HQ. And Lucian avoiding that zap coming from Jinx.
Very wise shot by HQ there. They saw that because Kale died up top to 3 enemy members, they were able now to push mid and seize that tower.
Yeah, they knew they couldn't respond to that, and there's nothing they could do about that, but at least they were able to pick up a strong objective. As you can see, a kill for a tower is much in favor for HQ at this point in the game, especially since they are already in the lead.
Yeah, exactly. So what HQ wants to do now is to farm and siege towers. They don't have to especially go really aggressive right now because they're in the lead and they have a very strong late game comp. So what they should do here is just farm and push.
That's right. Alright, so going back in the game, you can see looks like our predictions might be right for Lucian. He already does have the Vampiric Scepter. All he needs now is a recipe for Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster's recipe has gone up this season, this patch, so it will be a much stronger time for Lucian to farm up for that item. But as you can see, I think Jinx is very close to completing that IE, and this will give him a huge power spike like you said.
Yeah, but I don't think Bloodthirster would especially be very bad in Lucian. Even though it got a huge nerf after this 4.10 patch, I think the shield that would give Lucian might actually benefit them, especially because they're being pushed so hard. And they've already lost 2 turrets. They probably want to play a bit more passively and try to defend the turrets better.
That's right. GLC in the top lane right now, less than 1/3 HP, right? Only about 1/3 HP left. Leona joining Pride here. Smart move coming from GLC to leave that tower. There's no way he can defend it against these 2 champions. He'll probably go down if he tried. Naz again clearing the second pink ward in the same location. Wargods have to be a little bit more creative in putting down these pink wards. Leaving it, putting the same ward in the same place just allows Evelyn to pick up free gold every time she goes there.
Yeah, and the biggest issue with this is, again, that Gragas pick. That Gragas pick just really lacks mobility, and Evelyn is going all around the map, securing wards, taking off the enemy wards, and that just really allows them to exert more pressure.
Looking at the map, mini-map right now, you can see how deep the wards AHQ have on Team Wargods here. 2 very deep in the jungle of Wargods in the top lane here. JLC still farming here in the top lane. Definitely is struggling against Pride right now. Pride has a huge advantage. He actually hasn't picked up much items here, and even though he died twice already, the Wargod here, he's causing enough distraction to allow Team AHQ to pick up other objectives. Pride trying to run for his life here. Stronger will go down even first in here, and Pride will get away. Can you see the turnaround? Evelyn coming just in time to save Pride's here and actually pick up a kill for themselves.
Again, that Evelyn mobility is just so key, and you can see Evelyn, of course, already took off very good.
Looking at the game right now, I really think that this game is probably almost over for AHQ. Since their late game is already far ahead, and the AHQ's lineup is much more superior in Wargods in the late game, I don't know how they can defend this base very long.
And especially how hard they're pushing right now, and this is made worse by how often Wargods keep getting caught out. They keep getting caught out in 4-on-2 situations, 3-on-1 situations. They can't allow that to happen. They have to defend solidly. They have to make sure that they're not put in a disadvantage when it comes to team fights, because they can't win, especially when you're down 7k in gold. They just can't get caught out like that.
Yeah, and the ward, they were trying to clear the ward. Yasuo's almost getting caught by the zap there. A nice dash away there, and the traps coming from forcing body slam out of Gragas here in the mid lane. You see Wargods is really struggling right now defending their towers here.
Yeah, and right now what AHQ is trying to do is to try and push as hard as they can. They know they have the lead, and they know that in the late game, their composition is just much stronger. So if they can just push here, apply pressure, they know that this prevents Wargods from getting any farm at all. And if Wargods don't get farm, that just complicates that. This makes their situation much more complicated.
Yeah.
Because now, not only are they facing a deficit in terms of kills, they're also facing a deficit in terms of steals.
That's right, and actually Lucian already does have his Bloodthirster, while Jinx already has the Infinity Edge in his pocket, and looks like he's gonna probably build a Berserker's Greaves very soon as well, giving him even a boost advantage and giving him a little bit more mobility over the Lucian. And right now, HQ doesn't mind trading 1-for-1 kills right now since they're ahead. Any even trades is always in their favor from this point on.
Yeah, and I don't even think they could lose a trade, because you can see how big the lead of Jinx is to Lucian. Jinx has two Lawrence blades, and he also has an IE. Compare this to Lucian's Bloodthirster and Boots. I mean, that's a huge lead by Jinx.
Yeah, and right now you can see they lost a trade here. Everything Wargods is doing is just trying to survive here and trying to escape. Nad getting intervention at the right time. Price pick up the kill. Nad does escape and even picks up a kill for himself here. I think they're just going really sour for Wargods right now. Stronger going down once again. Price picking up another kill. His farm a while ago is now paying off. As you can see, he already has an Assure Tooth and then Ninja's large rod. His damage has spiked up so large now that he's able to pick up kills very easily.
Again, Wargods can't make these trades. Wargods is not in a position to make these trades, especially with a very big late game comp compared to AHQ. Because if Wargods make these trades, they're just only making AHQ stronger in the late game, and they don't want that to happen, especially with this deficit.
Yeah, I don't think that their lineup for this particular game was not really the smartest choice, especially since they already saw that the Yasuo was banned out. It doesn't really turn out in their favor anymore. They should have probably altered their composition to something a little bit different, maybe picking up a Nocturne in the jungle and a different mid laner to make the composition a little bit stronger in the mid to late game. But right now, as you can see here, they're really struggling as the game continues, and Gragas, although he's effective in their previous lineup, he's not doing as much in this particular game.
think Gragas is supposed to be farming all game instead of ganking. He's getting outfarmed by Evelyn. And that just really is not good at all for Wargods because Evelyn makes up for her lack of farm by ganking. But if Gragas is getting outfarmed by Evelyn, that just means that the advantage of Gragas in terms of farm has just been neutralized completely.
Yeah, Wargas was trying to do some damage on the mid tower. You can see how healthy the tower in the mid lane of HQ still is. And with Naz there protecting him, I think rotation from Evelyn, they're probably gonna go and engage on the 3 members of Wargods. I don't think they have a problem with this. Jinx using the ultimate does not connect with anybody here. Zeus using his calling lands on nobody as well. A hard engage coming from Green Tea here. You can see JLC. An ultimate from Jinx coming in inbound. Will hit Wargods. JLC uses his ultimate in response. Naz is trying to escape from Zeus. Has to be very careful. Zap missing this time around. Wargods will get away from this quite safely.
Very good disengage by Wargods. They knew they could not win a team fight, and they made sure that they backed away from that and didn't trade any more kills.
Yes, but definitely I think the ultimate coming from Zeus a while ago was a little bit of a bad call. He was forcing his calling just to pick up a kill, but his angle was still so bad that he couldn't really pick up anybody with 2 other champions right in front of him. I think he could have went for somebody else instead of that support champion on the side.
Or even if he angled it wrong, I definitely think he could have saved it by using his E. His E allows him to position himself even while using that culling. So I definitely think that while the angle was wrong, I think that he could have saved it. But either way, that was a really bad angle for the team.
Alright, Wargods now grouping up here in the mid lane. They have to be very careful. They're still behind by about 10,000 gold here. Zeus, I don't know what he's doing here. This is a very dangerous position for him. You see here, he does get dashed quite safely away from Green Tea. Zenith right here. That's doing a lot of damage to Trevor. You can see Trevor unable to do really much of anything. A Knight Death is landing onto Nazi from Poisanity. Trevor gets ultimated by Ziggs but survives with the shield, saving him with just less than 100 HP.
Again, Wargods is not learning from the previous game. They cannot get caught out like this. Because once you get caught out like this, you're just either gonna lose or you're gonna trade shields, and that's not good at all for them. Especially when they're trying to capitalize on an early game to get strong competition.
Yeah, you can see their ultimate intervention being used onto Gragas, onto Green Tea there. Being so tanky, only going down now here. Zeus goes down to Pride here. Pride, one hitting him. Wester picks up another kill. Garnet Devil gets actually a reset there. Finally, Oriana picks up a kill onto Kale here. 2-for-1 trade here. Really bad trade-off here. I'm sorry, it's a 2-for-2 rather. But still, like I said, any even trade is in favor of HQ at this point in the game.
At this point, any trade at all is in favor of AHQ. What they want to do here is trade capsules, and they want to make sure they can push hard. And they are pushing really hard right now. And that's really not good at all for Wargods. And Evelyn right here catches out Oriana again and gets his own kill.
And now Stronger is in a lot of trouble here. You can see here going down really fast here. The damage coming from that is just too much here. And HQ Wester picks up another kill here. JLC has a bit going back into the game. Very dangerous position here. A nice lantern coming from Poisanity, saving the life of JLC here. Definitely without a lantern, he would have went down to Trevor Wester once again.
I think Poisanity has actually been using this lantern very efficiently this game. You see early on he saved Lucian, he's able to save Oriana, he's even saved Gragas once with that lantern. Very good play from Poisanity right now.
Yeah, Poisanity definitely doing a really good job this game, saving a lot of his comrades and also landing those deaths quite well so far, but they just don't have enough damage since they were losing so hard in the early game. It really looks very bleak for Wargods at this point in time.
Yeah, I definitely think right now it's been a wrong choice for Lucian to go Bloodthirster, because Bloodthirster in the long run doesn't provide as strong a power spike as, for example, IE. So I think right now Lucian just made that wrong choice. Bloodthirster. And again, he gets caught out again and Jinx himself.
Yeah, actually AHQ just reading them like a book there. And Green Tea knew that Lucian was doing that, waited for the ultimate of Garden Devil, initiated his Zenith Blade and his Solar Flare perfectly onto Lucian. Lucian, thinking is going one-on-one with Leona, does not pay out for him.
And again, they can't keep engaging like this. The Wargods has to realize that they can't win even the 2-on-2. Right now, AHQ is just so far ahead in terms of gold that their items are just built so much better, and they just can't engage 2v2 or 1v1. It's just not gonna work out for them.
Yeah, Green Tea actually flashing in, trying to engage again onto Wargods member. Wargods was able to safely escape that from Leona there. So Westlor, they do pick up a tower, so definitely this is something that HQ will be very happy about. The gold lead has actually grown to more than 10k now. It's about 13,000 advantage over to HQ. They've already picked up 2 dragons so far, and probably will be looking into a Baron anytime soon.
And very importantly here is that they have 5 turrets to 1 turret. That means that their minion waves are just constantly pushing very hard and very far into the enemy base. So this allows them to take a bigger control of the map, and allows them to secure dragon better, allows them to even steal buffs.
Nas catching Stronger out once again. Body slam from Stronger to escape through the wall. Good thing though, he was able to get out quite safely there. Nas is actually doing a really good job this game on the Evidence 306. Hasn't died just yet, and 6 assists is really good for coming from the jungler.
And again, Gragas gets caught out here again because because of the ability to position herself, and her passive is very strong as well. And Jinx with a perfectly positioned missile becomes unstoppable.
Yeah, actually 2 ultimates burn coming from AHQ there. Jinx also uses Mega Inferno Bomb, but Jinx already picked up the kill. Jinx is actually way ahead right now of everybody in the game. You can see he has the static shift IE, and looks like he's gonna build a lifesteal item. Not sure yet what he decides to go for. Pretty much any item would do well on her.
I definitely think that Jinx is going for a bit of a I think there's no reason to go for Bloodthirster right now. She's had clearly no problem dying or no problem getting her health down. She's not so I think she should go for a Bloodthirster. Go for a bit of the Rune King, get the lifesteal from that, and get the very good action from the Blade of the Rune King.
Yes. Alright, red buff being picked up by Bright here. You can see HQ definitely starving Ward God from their own jungle right now. They do have superior ward coverage. The entire upper map right now is full of blue wards. There's no way Ward Gods can go in there safely and survive.
And more importantly, that means that AHQ just has the confidence to just keep pushing. And this static shift by Jinx will definitely come in handy. The reason Jinx picked up a static shift instead of a Phantom Dance is because static shift allows her to push much faster than a Phantom Dance would, despite Phantom Dancer giving her more DPS. So now AHQ is putting into practice the advantage of their gold lead. They're able to just push this out, and with the vision control that they have over this map, they're just able to do this very safely.
Yes, you'll see spotting green tea there. They'll probably clear out that ward sometime soon. There we go. A ward will be cleared out by HQ there. Another ward being placed down right outside their base. Oh, Pride is able to still take out the tower. He does have a lot of attack speed now. Middle third being pressured again by HQ. HQ, I think, will have no problem diving this. They do have the Baron buff right now. They were able to do a very quick Baron a while ago. And with this Baron buff, they should have no problem taking out the tower of War God. Basically a ticking time bomb right now for War God here. Any moment now, HQ will probably hard engage one of the members of War God. Oh, look at that crit! Half the life of 2 members with just 1 rocket.
That just shows you how powerful Jinx is, especially near late game. At almost 30 minutes of the game, Jinx is just so powerful, especially when you allow her to build so many items, build static chip and IE. And she's 506, and that's how powerful she can be late game.
Yeah, and Gragas used his ultimate to disengage. Luckily, they were able to all survive the hard engage coming from HQ, but nonetheless, HQ did pick up the tower. They're now going to go for the inhibitor. There's nothing I think Wargas can do to stop the pressure that HQ is doing right now.
I think this is GG for Wargas. I just don't see any way of... Well, maybe if AHQ throws very hard, just gets aimed, maybe they have a chance, but I just don't see this turning out good for Wargas. I just think this is over for them.
Yeah, you see
no
there.
way they can combat Jinx and her leader.
Yeah, HQ Wester picking up a kill for himself, including ripping down the HP bars of Wargods here. Looks like they're probably gonna go to the top lane. There's a large minion wave, or they might even go for the end game right now. Garnet hammering away down in the Nexus Surge. Only 2 towers are in their way. A hard engage coming from Leona with his Zenith Blade, picking up another kill on JLC. Nexus is gonna go down, and victory will go to AHQ once again.
Again, Wargods just could not stop the rampage that happened near the late game. They just allowed the late game power champions to get fed, and that's just a huge mistake by Wargods.
Yeah, so again, another victory for HQ. This puts them still at the top of the leaderboard for the Group B standings. Wargods, though, having not a very good day today, they did pick up 2 losses tonight. They first lost against NFL, now to HQ. With NFL, they were also being rotated very strongly by NFL, always getting caught out of position there. Sadly, Wargods pick up another 2 losses. They didn't even really pick up much kills here, and the game was really a landslide from the start to end.
And definitely, Wargods again has to learn how to control their jungle, has to control the vision on the map, and has to learn how to exert pressure through their jungle. Again, I think this Gragas pick was definitely a really, really bad pick. And again, he's 073. They probably should have picked a more mobile champion, perhaps Lee Sin. We've seen that been played the last 2 games very, very effectively.
Mhm. All right, so looking at the standings, who would you give the MVP to?
I definitely have to give the MVP to Kale or Jinx. Now, with Jinx, I think she was able to deal a lot of damage, and more importantly, she hasn't died yet. So 509 from Jinx. Again, while Ziggs is 508, I think that the pressure Jinx is able to give in terms of turrets, because Jinx is very powerful when it comes to clearing waves
Mhm.
and seizing towers. She's able to clear a lot of towers, a lot of waves, and I think that really allowed AHQ to push hard and clear towers, take objectives, and just win the game.
All right, thank you very much. So congratulations against to HQ for picking up another victory. That will be the last match of the night. Of course, I'd like to remind you guys about our other events regarding in Garena here. We do have the Rampage ticket selling still ongoing in the office till July 19. Tickets are available from 9 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. There is a lunch break between 1 to 2 p.m. I'm sorry, from yes, that's 1 to 2 p.m. And aside from that, we also have the All Stars voting right now for the PGS. Now, if you haven't voted for your favorite players in the local scenes, now's your chance to vote for them. We'll have an all-star match also in Rampage, and the champion or the hero or the players that will get to play will be decided by your vote. So if you want to support your friends or your players, go to the PGS website, or I'm sorry, go to the voting to the forums to get to vote for your favorite players. All right, so that's about it, and we'll have another set of games tomorrow. We'll be resuming again tomorrow at 6 p.m. So don't forget to tune in, of course. I'm Jay, and with me is M Raken TV. We'll be seeing you tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you for watching.